Hey guys, Poro here, and this time I'm going to try a new style of video and attempt to make an LCS team from scratch. The rules for this team are as follows. Firstly, I'm not going to try to do some glorified super team angle, and I want to make it somewhat realistic if I were to actually buy a 10th place slot, or if 11 teams were permitted next split. Secondly, again trying to stay somewhat realistic, I'll actually be following the contract database that is publicly available. The third rule is that I'll be keeping an imaginary budget of around $1 million in the back of my head. I obviously don't know how much each player is really worth, but I want to mentally set a low budget to make sure I don't make any unrealistic moves. The average salary for LCS players was reported as 410k USD in 2020 and 300k in 2022 according to unreliable Google searches, and the minimum salary allowed is 75k. I figured averaging roughly 200k per player, or less than half of the average teams in 2020, was fair to a new team. Also, this one is kind of obvious, but the import rule does apply, meaning only 2 imports max. It doesn't matter too much as I can really only pull imports from minor regions, which means no faker buyout this time. With that out of the way, we'll need to get the most important step out of the way first, and that's a team name. There's literally a team called Flying Oyster at Worlds this year, so pretty much anything goes. I probably can't use Poro in my team name unless I want to get sued by Riot, and LEC is letting a team called Heretics in next year, so I'll keep it simple and base my team around Psychopath. The options could be something like Team Psychopaths or Psychopath Esports. If I did Psychopath Esports, I could make my acronym PPE, which also stands for Personal Protective Equipment, which is pretty relevant with COVID existing, and I think that's equally both stupid and funny. So PPE it is. If a player would literally deny my contract on the basis of being called PPE, we also have PE, TP, or TPP as other options. Now to move on to the actual team. I'll be skipping coach because we don't get enough info on what coaches even do for me to make an educated decision on that kind of thing. All we get is PR approved documentaries, and I definitely don't trust those. I'll be going out of order a bit, but hopefully it makes sense in a minute. I'm starting with jungle mainly because I only have one idea for jungle and absolutely no backup plan. I want my jungler to be Pridestalker. Pridestalker played for a while in EU leagues like EU Masters and Prime League before playing one split on Golden Guardians and getting benched. I like Pridestalker because his jungle playstyle is super carry oriented, which I'm obviously biased towards as a jungle main. I really enjoyed watching him play, and I think he got super robbed during the deal between Dig and GG in last summer split. The con to Pridestalker is that he does take up an import slot, which definitely hurts, especially for later. Moving on to the only simple role remaining in my plan, I'm doing ADC next because I only have one choice for ADC, and it counts as NA residency. Some of the possible ADCs I could have attempted to go with were Neo, Tomo, Arrow, and Yeon. The only problem is that I think Neo and Arrow would be out of my budget range due to me needing to sink a solid amount into Pridestalker, and Yeon is definitely out of budget range even if I used all of my million on him. I'd slap my second import slot onto Brance, the rookie ADC from Loud, but he just had a pop-off debut and I'd probably have to burn the wallet more than I want to, as well as all future import options. With only Tomo left as an option from NA, I decided to look towards the only other region that automatically counts as non-imports, that region being Osh. Luckily for me, one of the Osh ADCs that I really like had his contract expiring, so say hello to my new ADC Praedith. This guy literally plays everything. In Season 12 alone, he played 16 unique champions. He also spent a lot of time as a top laner, meaning that he has extra game knowledge from experience with multiple roles. In comparison, Tomo has played almost half of his games on Aphelios, and Aphelios isn't exactly meta at the moment, which shows a little lack of flexibility. If we want Pridestalker to carry my team's games from the jungle, playing weak side Aphelios every game doesn't exactly seem to fit the bill. To fill my last import slot, I have 3 TCL players that I would really want to snag, those being Starscream, Balulu, and Zergsting. Starscream is a player I've been hyping up for a while now, and he's one of the best weak side top laners I've seen in a minor region ever. The only problem is that I haven't found any proof from interviews, streams, or videos that he can speak English. He's also found a lot of success on IW in the last couple of years, and I don't know how willing he would be to leave. Balulu is another player who I would literally lose a leg to have on my team. Unfortunately, a lot of similar issues with language barrier and prior success in the TCL also plague this pick. Additionally, I have a lot of options for mid lane I can go with, so I feel fine even without Balulu. Zergsting is a completely different story. He has an absolute champion ocean, and I love his playstyle. He has spoken English in an interview done at Worlds 2021, and GS flopped this year in the TCL. With a decent enough contract, it's not out of the realm of possibility, so I'm slotting in Zergsting for the support slot. If Zergsting doesn't work out, my second option would be Aladoric from Osh. He's a solid support player who's probably familiar with Praedyth's playstyle due to being from the same region, and he doesn't take up an import slot. The only spots left to fill are the solo lanes, and I'll start it off with top. The affordable options from NA are Solo and Gamsu. The other two top lane contracts that are ending this year are Someday and Impact, and the chances of me getting either are literally 0%. Solo might also be out of budget range at this point due to the amount of experience he has, so it's either Gamsu or look at another region. Lo and behold, Osh saves me again with BioPanther having his contract expiring this year. Bio is a very solid weak side top who has multiple years of international experience and a solid champ pool. Picking Bio also gives me solid ideas for my mid laner, which I'll get to next. Since Blulu has already been ruled out due to the import rule, I have 3 other mid laners I'm thinking about. The first is a name everyone will recognize, and that's Damonte. I can assume he's within budget since a 10th place CLG was able to get a contract with him at the end of 2021. He plays a lot of roaming utility champions that might pair well with the carry jungler Pridestalker, since both the mid and the jungle can't play duo carry every single game. The other 2 options I have are from Osh, and those are Kisei and Chaz. In terms of pros, they've actually both played with BioPanther in the past. Chaz played with Bio and Praedyth on PGG in 2021, and Kisei is currently with Bio on Order. From what I've seen in summer playoffs and at MSI, Kisei seems like a super promising player who is willing to try all kinds of strategies and playstyles. He's also only 19, meaning there's plenty of time to develop him. Chaz has similar perks. As mentioned, he already has synergy with both Bio and Praedyth from the 2021 PGG roster, and he's proven to be good at adapting to the meta on short notice, being the very first lane Lee Sin to be locked in pro play in 2021. The 2021 PGG roster as a whole just really caught my eye, and I enjoyed watching them at MSI and in playoffs the entire year. Lucky for me that most of their contracts expired. In fact, I'd be looking at Pabu for jungle as well if his contract wasn't a 2023 expiration. I'd want to pick up both Chaz and Kisei for sure if possible and just play the best fit, but Damonte got a spot at CLG as a coach, so I'll just happily let him stay there. Unless Damonte can fill up the coaching slot that I didn't know how to fill earlier. Easy peasy, roster complete. So there you have it, the full roster. BioPanther top, Pridestalker jungle, Chaz/Kisei mid, Praedyth ADC, and Zergsting support with Aladoric in the back. An affordable 7-man roster with guaranteed synergy, a team identity, and full English speakers. We can at least win a singular game, right? That's all I got for this one. If you enjoyed this style of content, let me know in the comments and I'll think about doing one for each of the 3 major regions as well. Thanks for watching, bye.
Even if you don't end right now, you still see Baron is live. Now let's see. Nanasik getting himself back, but no Kha'Zix ult. He's a big problem for the upcoming team fight. Decoy goes in with a dredge line onto the enemy support. Nanasik's already dead. Praedyth going in, looking for another. Lodic's going to be taken down. Double kill over to the Oceanic AD carry. Victor Ulti's looking to do some work, but work will not be done. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in international competition, Oceania will make it past